know if I'm going to put up with Russ behaving like that. And listen, Barry Trammell, let me just say this real quick about Barry Trammell. I've known him for, I don't know, maybe 40 years. Wow. He's really a good man, and he's really a smart, tough, all-business journalist. He does his job as well as anybody does their job by the book. And all he does is ask reasonable questions after games. I've known him for years. He's not a shock jock type. He doesn't go for the throat. He's not really that controversial. He's very down the middle. He's very objective and honest in his approach. And for Russell to try to show him up game after post game is pretty humiliating to me, not only as a journalist, but for their franchise and for my hometown. So maybe this is going to be the end of it, because last night he went so far as to say, well, that's a good question. What do you think? You know, like he's going to hand off. Okay. Rude. Yeah. Go ahead.
But Skip, maybe you can give a little insight. Do you know what caused this conflict between this journalist and Russ?
I have no idea. Brian Curtis of The Ringer wrote about this back in 2016 and did a sensational inside look at this. It just started from the start, because that's kind of Russ's demeanor and attitude. Is he needs a chip on his shoulder. And so the biggest chip was the local media. How can you guys ask me objective questions? How can you not love me? How can you doubt me in the smallest way? And from the start, the PR staff, and it came from the top, from the ownership, let him get away with it. They let Kevin get away with it, but Kevin's much more accessible and open to the media. Russ just hated the media from the start. And the more triple doubles he had, the more he was allowed to hate the media. And obviously that first group with both Harden and Kevin in it, they were the darlings, not only the town, of the state, of the region, so you could get away with it. But I don't know any one thing that Barry ever did. I don't think they've ever had a conversation before. Barry laughed in that 2016 article about, I didn't even know he knew who I was. So I don't know that he even knows Barry Trammell's name. He just knows his face. And if he dares to ask an objective question, then Russ is going to shut him down with next question.
And the thing I found interesting the other night, I think it was Friday night, Skip, he done brought Paul George into this bull jive. He got Paul George talking about next question. Come on, man. Y'all listen, stop being so petty. You won a ball game, you're pounding your chest, everybody, you saw Schroeder doing his hand like Dame Lillard, it's Schroeder time and all this carried on. Hey, nah. You step to the podium, they ask you a question, you answer the question and keep it moving. You guys are playing terrible. Now, Paul George, he wants to be known as playoff Paul. He about to be known as first-round exit Paul, because that seems to be what's happening a lot lately.
Yep. And allow me to say that I really loved what Steve Kerr said. This is before yesterday's game. He was commenting on Russell's behavior off Friday night's game, but Steve Kerr said, I think it's dangerous for the league. And he went on to expand that we're in a good place right now as a league. We're very popular. Fans love the game, social dynamic, the fashion, but more than anything, they love the connection they feel with the players. Sure. And the only way you're going to feel that connection is through players speaking to media. When you were a Bronco and a Raven, you were all time, right? You spoke to the media. Yes. I think it served you well, and I think it served your teams well.
It did, but Skip, I had a job to do. Let me go do my job, play. Okay, they have a job to do. Okay, Shannon, what happened in the game? Why were you unsuccessful today? What happened? Okay, you just answered the questions. They're not asking you personal. Well, Shannon, what's going on in your home life? No. They're not asking Russ personal questions. No. They're asking him questions about what they see on the court. But another thing, Skip, is getting out of hand with his behavior. Dame is trying to reach down to pick the ball up. He's kicking the ball. The guy has the ball. He's slapping the ball. At some point in time, somebody need to turn around and fire on him, because he's getting, I'm Russell, and I got a chip on my shoulder. I play like this. Okay, you're going to catch the right one at the wrong time, and then you watch.
Well, all this can be forgiven if you win, and when it's time to win the most important game.
Win what?
Win anything. Win one series. No, win one series. By the way, Steve, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Steve Kerr summarized the whole thing by saying one of the reasons people like the league right now is we have a lot of great players, really good guys who handle themselves well. So don't kill that. Does Russ fit into really good guys who handle themselves well? He's never fit into that mold, and we've let him get away with it.
Right, but this old school guys like it, Skip, because that's the way we played in the 80s and the 90s. We weren't all friendly. We weren't all this. But your ratings weren't like it is now. The popularity of the game is growing even more. There's a time and a place, and I'm not saying that every time a guy makes a basket, the opposing team guy slaps his hands or give him a pat on the back. But I think sometimes Russ goes over the line. I think more times than not, he steps across the line. Why must you kick the ball if the guy's trying to pick it up? Why must you slap the ball out of his hand? Remember, you got upset when you tried to call a 20-second timeout and Patrick Beverly undercut you. You got so teed off. You slamming the scores table. And you've had a beef, a gripe with Pat ever since. Now you see how it feels when you're doing stuff that's unnecessary.
Yep.
You felt what Patrick Beverly did was unnecessary. A lot of these other players feel the things that you do are unnecessary. But we've been seduced, Skip. He had 42 triple-doubles one year. He had 30 last year. I think he had 32, 33 this year. Oh, look at the triple-double. But when he doesn't get that triple-double and you go through the weeds and you start looking, man, dude shot 5 of 21. He's averaging 21 points a game in this series, but it's taking him 20 shots to get it. That's not good. And he's turning the ball over 5, 6 times a game. That's not good. Oh, really? He's just been doing that all year. But you like, because she's all dolled up, you forget all the other things that come along with that.
I do agree with that. I'm going to remind everyone, the biggest reason Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City was he believed that Sam Presti, the GM, had basically anointed Russ the alpha, the 1 to Kevin's 1A, that Presti wanted the ball in Russ's hands in all the big late-game moments. And Kevin just couldn't live with that, and I couldn't blame him for that. So he chose to not only leave, but obviously to join forces with a juggernaut. And the rest is history, and we're going to talk about that juggernaut here in just a little bit. But what's amazing to me is that Russell actually hasn't gotten better over time. He's gotten worse because his shooting has gotten worse. And while most, great players, the Magics and the MJs, they Magic's an MJ too. Magic and Jordan, like there you go. But they taught themselves a shot, and it just kept getting better and better. Then they taught themselves a three-point shot, and it got better and better. And now Russ seems to be getting worse and worse. He is shooting his free throws better in this series, but he was 66% from the free throw line this year. So there's nothing left to defend there unless he could figure out a way to go win a game at Portland in Game 5. And I don't see it.
What about this, Skip? What if his field goal percentage from the floor, his three-point percentage, his free throws is suffering because the triple-double is so important to him? He has to chase all these rebounds all over the court, and he's exerting so much energy, maybe he doesn't have the legs to sustain that as we get later into the ball game.
I agree, and I was starting to think last night in the second half, was he just wearing down and out? You were saying he's deferring. Was he just running out of gas? I don't know, but this is it. They knew they have. This is the game you have to win. You got to hold serve because you showed no signs of being able to compete at Portland. Portland's a hard place to win for anybody. So good luck with this.
Oh.
And they're doing it. And plus, look, we're talking about Russ and his inability to close the deal. Paul George is playing okay, but he's shooting a poor percentage. Steven Adams is giving him nothing. Steven Adams is 7 foot tall, 280 pounds, and he's giving them 6 and 6.
Yeah, and I thought Jeremy Grant was emerging, and he's giving them not much, and Ferguson's giving them not much. So they look like a beaten basketball team to me, but they were up 7 late in the second quarter, and that was the end of them.
It looks like I'm going to be getting me some dew. To me, that's what it appears to me. I'm going to be getting dew. Dew. I love dew.
Wait, I don't know what you're talking about.
Dew.
We didn't bet any dew on this one. We bet no dew.
We bet no dew on this series.
We bet no dew. Now you're fantasizing.
Where's that coming from?
Fictionalizing dew.
You know what? I don't even want dew on this series because it's too easy. But I know a series we did bet dew on.
Which one?
Joker.
Oh,
Joker.
the Joker.
Oh, okay, Shannon. All right. Talk a big game from afar. I don't know, Shannon, how you're going to feel about this next one. Why did Donovan McNabb go after